My name is Rory Mara. This is my first semester with Verto, and I found it just looking through a bunch of gap year programs. I originally found the social media, and then I had a couple mutuals, and I just started to look into it more. Past fall, before Verto, I had an internship. It was a really great experience, but I'm definitely glad to be back in the classroom and not having a full year off. After Verto, I'm planning to attend university next year, and hopefully that'll be University of Vermont. I would like to study environmental economics. When it came to choosing a college and making post-Verto plans, I honestly don't think I would have been happy if I hadn't done a Verto semester, because I just had very different ideals, and Verto really opened up my world. There's a lot of support in looking at schools that are actually going to be helpful. At this point, I'm really excited. I think Verto gave me a good balance of coming off a gap semester of total freedom to now more of a hybrid of freedom, but having access to talk to professors and get work done. I feel more excited to go back to school full time. I liked school through high school, the whole thing. It's definitely, they're a bit longer, but I feel the education and the length and how the class is set up is definitely college style. But the relationships that I have with my teachers are still similar to high school in the sense that I can talk to them and have one-on-ones with them. In my free time, it's normally just trying to find ways to collaborate with others. There are a lot of Verto events which work out really well. I just think it's nice having them because everyone here wants to be friends. Everyone wants to make friends. It just kind of puts you in that scenario, gives you a bit of a push. I feel the other thing is just talking to people. Just walk around. It's there's not going to be anyone here who doesn't want to get to know somebody else. I guess the language would have been a more challenging thing just to adjust to. Not that I couldn't communicate with people, but that feeling of being really far away. And I would say it's a bit lonely the first week, but now you kind of embrace it, and it's I think it's really cool. One thing here is how quiet it is, and you just sort of own it over time, and now it becomes a really unique thing that you get to tell everybody else back home. And you realize it doesn't have to be the same. It just there's an adjustment period. We're doing things around Prague. It's really nice because all of the activities here are super cheap. Bowling is cheap, mini golf is cheap. There's a lot of games that are really inexpensive and just fun to do. Something I wish I brought was a raincoat. I definitely had the mentality packing of oh, I'll just buy it when I'm there. And I'm glad that I did that, but at the same time, bring a raincoat. Czech is definitely very different than other European countries. When I first got it, I was oh wow, these people are a little cold. But again, it's I'm used to walking down the street and smiling at everybody. And then it just kind of becomes oh no, I can own this, and you're in your own world, and it's kind of cool. You feel a bit more independent, and I feel that's one thing that culture kind of pushes is independence, and it's pretty cool. I didn't know anything about Verto. It's okay if you're the first person in your school or your class that's ever done Verto or ever gone abroad. I think it's something that's starting to get more popular because people are realizing how great it is. I was the first person to find Verto, and then other kids in my class ended up doing it. It's worth it to look into. I came by myself. Just a little bit nerve-wracking, but at the same time, everyone's here to make friends. I went to high school with somebody who's at a different location. It's crazy how many connections you'll get just with 20 other people. It's oh my god, you're from that area, I know someone from there, and it just all comes together. I would say my favorite experiential learning was the trip to the National Museum. We went for geology. Just a very chill time to look at some rocks and minerals and kind of go around, and oftentimes it's you see things but you don't really understand them. We got to go into it with a different perspective, which is also really nice. Traveling on weekend trips and going to museums, you start to appreciate it more because you know what you're seeing more.